All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here on the Harmless Dave channel, talking about music, really, and doing it in real time for a few real people out here, just like you there, and just like me here. So this is going to be a music video, right? Not me dancing around, but a video about music. And it's going to be rather self-indulgent because I'm going to be talking about, I don't know if my music tastes are changing or I'm realizing some things that just I have to tell people about. Maybe some of my files that got deleted have been recovered. Because when I was a kid, I used to listen to the radio a lot. And I had an AM radio, and I was really into what was on the top 40 during the 1970s, folks. Yeah, I'm that old. Isn't that great? And I was walking around the supermarket the other day, which I tend to do because I actually go there to buy things. And there's this song playing because supermarkets nowadays have some great tunes playing. When I was a kid, they had all this beautiful Muzak crap, instrumental versions, like what they would call beautiful music. In Boston, there was this radio station, famous radio station called WJIB, Jib. And they used to, WJIB, Jib. It was like 97 point something. Can't remember exactly. My parents liked Jib, right? So I never listened to Jib. Yeah, I did. I listened to Jib, unfortunately, and they played all of that beautiful Muzak stuff, and everything is beautiful. Yeah, that's the song they played over and over again. Um, but where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So the supermarkets are way better. So I'm walking through and I'm hearing this song, which I've heard 1,000 times, maybe more. And I got to tell you, listening to this guy sing on this track made me realize that he's the best singer I've ever heard. He's the best lead singer I've ever heard. And I came home and I'm thinking to myself, do I tell people what I'm thinking right now? It's like, do I disclose this secret? And I've already told people that I'm fond of this group, and I'm glad they finally got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I think I was more excited about it than pretty much anyone else. In fact, Eric Clapton, he actually sent me a message saying, I really appreciated your video about the Spinners. And I was like, where did that come from? That was kind of out of left field. Eric Clapton thinks that Tom Bell, the producer, is a genius, which I do too. And apparently he's a fan. So anyway, I'm trying to get to the point here. So who's this guy in the middle, right? The guy with the partial fro, sort of. I love the 70s, man. The 70s were great. The guy in the middle is the best singer I've ever heard. He just is. And I know I'm going to be all alone out on a tree limb here. And people are going to say, what? Compared to, look, there are some great rock singers. I talk about them all the time. Steve Perry, Lou Gramm, Jimmy Jamison, who I would have to put at the top of my list of those kinds of singers because Jimmy had a swagger. But nobody compares to the swagger of the late, great Bobby Smith from the Spinners. Like, nobody, all right? I'm walking around the supermarket and I'm trying to sing with Bobby. Bobby had this unique way of phrasing. He had all of the swagger that I like in a singer, commanding the song, distinctive vocal qualities, just bringing it on home in a way that you don't hear that today. I mean, little bits and pieces. Every so often you'll hear a singer and you'll be like, yeah, that's a little like so and so. Bobby Smith, man, and I'm talking better than Sam Cooke. All right, that's how much I like. Oh, you're sacrilegious. Well, it's a different kind of singer too. And yes, part of the reason I love Bobby Smith so much is the fact that Tom Bell gave him some of the greatest music to sing in the history of R&B and pop. And the thing about Tom Bell, the producer, is he brought in all of this classical stuff, classical orchestration, real strings, not just fake strings, and that kind of stuff. As far as the Philly R&B scene, that wasn't really happening until Tom Bell came along, and then it became like the Philly sound to some degree, but you've got jazzy tendencies, like on the tune One of a Kind Love Affair, which is the song I'm listening to in the supermarket. You got this piano thing that happens in the song, which is just so addictive. You could keep listening to just that part of the song. And then Bobby Smith, who's just bringing it home. And these songs are kind of telling these stories, these relationship stories. And they're all intriguing and they all keep your attention. That's another great thing about it. And it doesn't hurt that you have singers like Henry Fabro, who just, I don't know how long ago, like a year or two ago, passed away. I think he was the last surviving member of the Spinners. I'm thinking he didn't get to the Hall of Fame. I'm not sure if he did or he didn't. I can't remember what happened there. But everybody in that group were just great singers. They were great live performers on top of it. They had such a polished show when they would be on TV, right? They were made for TV. They were like made for Las Vegas. I don't know. They probably played some gigs in Vegas. I mean, if they were all still around today, they could do, a never-ending residency wherever, whatever hotel, or maybe that place that makes you nauseous there, the Sphere. Just with them dancing around, I don't know, people might just not be able to stand up straight. But all of the instrumentation, I mean, you have flutes, you have the alto sax, you have French horns, I think you have cellos. You've got so much happening, and then you have this insane singer, which shouldn't be lost on people how good Bobby Smith was. Just insanely good. He's the guy in the middle. That was the punchline. That's Bobby Smith. And I'll tell you what, go listen to like the Spinners' greatest hits. It's like a tutorial on production, singing, precision, clean recording, analog, which sounds like digital. Sounds better because it just sounds so fresh. Doesn't sound compressed or overproduced. All I know is I put it on and I love it, okay? Just from the layman's point of view, I'm not a recording person. I have not engineered any albums. I haven't done production on anything. I could tell you what I like and what I don't like. And, even the drumming on these records is just so doon, 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 doon. You're just like, what's coming. There's a drum riff. There's a guitar that falls in. There's a keyboard part. There's a piano part, which is so just organic, but yet it's pop, it's jazz, it's R&B, it's everything thrown in there. And then you got trumpets, and sometimes you have trombones. I mean, it's just, to me, this is like a buffet, all right? A musical buffet. You go in and you just get a little bit of everything. It's kind of like Doug Flutie when I went and hung out with John Bon Jovi, which is a recent story. He just got a little bit of everything. And that to me is Tom Bell, okay? Tom Bell brought everything in, and he had this masterful singer named Bobby Smith and some other great singers who also took turns on lead vocals. And you can listen to Spinner's albums. And up until the early 80s, they kind of changed their focus a little bit. They had to, which unfortunately was kind of like the end of their, hit-making career, although I'm sure they charted well on R&B stations and so forth. But 70s Spinners and even the 60s stuff, the Motown-y sounding stuff is good. But to me, nothing beats Tom Bell with Bobby Smith singing. And Bobby Smith, as of today, October 20th, 2025, is my favorite singer of all time. He's just too good to ignore, and I had to tell someone about it, so I figured I would tell you guys. All right, people, the Spinners. They have a box set out there. I think maybe for Christmas I'm going to get myself the Spinners box set, remastered and all that stuff. Although the analog recordings on a turntable is just so good. With a good stereo system, it's better. It just is better. So that's just me, but I think I'm right. So again, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and buy me a coffee if you like the content. I'll see you soon.